Fun fact, we had a house party there once. Woke up the following day, someone had stolen our front door. Hello, I'm Jack Whitehall, and I am going to be hosting the BRIT Awards 2026 with MasterCard, which for the first time ever is heading north to Manchester, a city that holds a very special place in my life. So I have been asked by the producers to look at some photographs and reminisce. Trip down memory lane. It's a bit like that feature they do in Vogue, but this version is going to be a lot more tawdry as I was a student there. So this is the first photograph. It's taken of me on stage in Manchester in a comedy club. Manchester is where I started my comedy career. I went there to university because my father wanted me to get a degree and one day have a proper job. Didn't work out like that. I started doing open mic comedy there and then eventually running my own comedy night in Manchester, a comedy night called Comedy Sluts. We ran it in a very smelly basement nightclub called Subspace, I think it was. It was basically the only way I could get guaranteed stage time. When you're first starting out as a comedian, you need to rely on people giving you gigs, or you just have to put on a gig yourself and basically just force your friends to listen to you. And this was that. Had some great comedians that came and did it. Had Russell Kane, I remember he came and headlined it. Paul Sinner from The Chase. Before John Bishop was John Bishop, he came and headlined our comedy night. Picture of him here. To be clear, that's not when we were at the student comedy night. I didn't have the Madonna head mic back then. That would have been a little unbearable if I walked on stage in a small basement to 60 people and had the Madonna head mic. I remember at the end of his set, we were kind of short on the cash that we promised him. So we had to give him some laughing gas canisters instead as payment. This was the styling that I had in my Manchester days. It was very much the sort of indie boy band era, NME. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a great look at the time. Maybe I can bring it back for the Brits. If we have enough hairspray and Dax wax, £5 ticket to see me. That was the last time that I was good value for money. You can see the glisten, the sheen. It was pretty gross. Hair's changed, the wrist hasn't. Oh yeah, that was another thing that I was really into back then, is like gimmicks, because I didn't really have any material. So I remember there was a whole routine where I came on dressed like a chicken. We'd gone out on a student night in Manchester, and I told it on stage that we'd all gone out in fancy dress, possibly had a little bit too much to drink. And then I went into the KFC in Manchester at about midnight, drunk, dressed as a chicken, and got thrown out because I was demanding to see my children. I remember being escorted out by security. This is a show that I filmed in Manchester called Hit the Road, Jack. You don't remember it. It only did one series. It came and passed very quietly, but one of the things I did was drag on Canal Street. I mean, I didn't go as far as shaving my chest. The man rug is still there. This was the first time I'd ever done drag, and I did it in a nightclub hosted by a drag act called Belinda Scandal. One of the many memorable nights that I've had on Canal Street. Maybe I'll return there after the Brits. Oh yeah, this is me at Manchester Arena doing my show in Manchester, which was amazing. That was like my first arena tour, and it felt like a bit of a homecoming gig. Felt like I'd sort of come a long way since doing the little dank, dark basement to 60 people. I was suddenly in this massive arena. But what I remember was really cool about this night was the after party after the show. Instead of going to like some, swanky bar, we ended up going back to Fallowfield, which is where we'd all been students. And we had a lock-in in a newsagent's in Fallowfield, which was the place that we used to buy like all of our hooky nightclub tickets. And it was the same people, and they sort of remembered us from when we were students, or at least pretended they did, and then let us in. And then we had a lock-in in a newsagent's, which when I said out loud doesn't sound particularly fun, but it felt very special at the time. This is me in my halls of residence, because I was obviously at university in Manchester, lived in Fallowfield in Owens Park in this notorious halls of residence called the Tower, which was there for many, many years. Sadly, no longer, RIP the Tower, it has now been knocked down. But I was on the 14th floor, and that was my old student digs. I thought there'd be like a blue plaque for me up on the wall. Instead, nothing. It had been just decommissioned, essentially, and they've now destroyed the building. That's how they commemorated my time at Manchester. There used to be a thing called the Tower Challenge, where you'd start on the top of the tower, and it was 18 floors, and then you'd have to do a drink on every floor on the way down, and there would be people every Friday and Saturday night passed out on various levels. I also remember there being 2 lifts, and there always being a in one of them. This is me Now, playing a student, this was my second act, if you will, of me in Manchester when I was filming the show Fresh Meat, where I was LARPing as a student playing a character. I say playing a character, I mean, not a huge leap, me playing a sort of posh toff student that attended Manchester University. One of the most enjoyable jobs that I ever got to do, and got to go back to Manchester and revisit a lot of those places as well, like that nightclub where I had the comedy night, where we were suddenly filming in there, and I'd be, you know, pretending to be a student filming with a load of extras in a room that I'd actually been a student in, and would often walk onto sets and visit locations, and the memories would come flooding back. I'd be like, oh, I think I was sick in that bit. And the whole of the Brits is going to be a slight homage to my student days. Well, he's from Manchester, like the most mank guy you have ever met in your life. We met on Fresh Meat. He was my driver on that, and then we became like really good mates and remain good mates to this day. Over the course of the years of our relationship, that like maybe some of the boundaries have slightly been eroded. And on the night of the Brits, which is like his favorite night out of the year, he drove me to the O2, and then he got so battered at the O2 that he was like, oh, sorry mate, I'm not gonna be able to drive you home because I've had too many beers. And I was like, right, okay, so how should I get home? He was like, I don't know, get an Uber. So then I booked an Uber, and then by the time I'd come out, Walt had taken my Uber home to my house, because he was staying at my house as well, because he lives in Manchester. I ended up getting the tube home. I got the tube home, and then when I arrived home, I got into my house and found Walt, who'd obviously not driven me home and then stole my Uber, asleep in my bed. And I was like, Walt, get the fuck out of my bed. I need to go to sleep now. He was like, your house has got loads of beds. Just go sleep in one of them. And he wouldn't leave. So then I ended up having to share a bed with him as well. Another Manchester memory, me on the pitch at Old Trafford in Soccer Aid. I always think when I play in those games that I look quite athletic, and then I watch them back and then see stills of me, always with the tongue out, like I'm a panting dog. In my head, I was like David Beckham that day, but it's really not. It's more like Schmeichel, the dog from Coronation Street. Oh, I'm glad we got to look back and reminisce, remember some of those happy times. And I look forward to creating more happy memories when I host the BRIT Awards in Manchester on February the 28th.